In polygraph test, it will have 3 rounds to test the subject is lying or not. First, ask the subject rest for 5 seconds, then ask the subject to tell his name. Next, rest for 5 seconds again. Then, require him to count from 10 to 0. After that, rest for another 5 seconds and require him to count from 13 to 0. Then, let him rest for 5 seconds again. Then, touch his face. Second, the examiner will provide a color paper such as black, red, blue, green, yellow, orange, brown, and pink, and ask the subject to look at 10 seconds. Also, let the subject rest for 5 seconds after each color paper. Keep repeating until all the color papers have been rolled. In last part, ask the subject some yes/no questions, such as, are you currently a student? Are your eyes blue? Do you have any brothers? Etc. Things we discover from the data result. First round. Our data result was error, because we assumed the heart rate would be low if the subject is being relaxed, but the data result with high heart rate. We think that the light and sound in the lab were affecting the result of the subject, which caused the error of the data. Second round, we think that different colors represent our various emotions. Pink, blue, and green are cool colors, which the EDA would be low, while yellow, orange, and red are warm colors, so the EDA would be higher. Third round, we assume that subject will show physiological reaction if he is lying. We add 9 simple questions to the subject at the beginning of the round, such as his age, position, family background, and so on. After, we could turn to ask a question which was actually different to the simple question. For example, have you answered all of the preceding questions truthfully? We find that the detect data of the subject, including heart rate, respiratory rate, and EDA would be higher than before when we added the last special question.
What the important point is that we learn how to cooperate each other in a group, separating the job, communicating and reviewing may be the main task in a group report. However, we have learned that to respect others is also an important factor. When our opinion appears obviously different, we need to communicate with respect with other groupmates, otherwise we may have an argument. After we had completed this experiment, we learned how receptor truly work. A receptor would receive the emotional and psychological change of the subject. We could observe this change by reading the data to define the subject is lying or not. For instance, the heart rate of the subject will increase when the subject face is being tough, or our emotional change would vary depending on what color we are looking at. When our sensory receptor were aroused, we may feel comfortable, sad, or other feelings. At the same time, we would experience psychological response such as high-frequency heart rate and sweaty skin. This experiment gives us more information about polygraph. Finish all the experiment, it gave us more information about polygraph. We used to think polygraph is a lie detector, but it isn't. We all have one understanding of seeing the subject increase heart rate, EDA, respirations, and blood pressure to define he is lying. However, here have many factors to affect the result of polygraph, such as the noise, environment. Some might control his physical reactions, and a human mistake or analyze the data. Thus, we cannot entirely believe the result of polygraph.
In polygraph, there are many factors that may affect the accuracy. During lie detecting with polygraph, some people who require some special technique such as self-hating and thinking different things to arouse emotion. These people are able to control the physiological response to pass the lie detecting, although most of us cannot. External stimuli such as lighting, sound, color may affect the recording due to emotional change. Also, humidity and temperature will affect the EDA. When the subject feels nervous or in the environment that is higher temperature and humidity, the EDA recording becomes higher. Furthermore, the extent of the response is variable to different people, since the emotion change driven by tasks in the test may be different to people. Therefore, the result would be variable among people. Last but not least, in the noisy environment, such as a lab room full of students, the subject will not be able to relax enough to have a polygraph test, since the subject may find interest and cannot focus on the test.
The experiment is related to Module 16. Lie detector tests are based on the theory that if a person tells a lie, he or she will feel some emotion, such as guilty or fear. Feeling guilty or fearful will be accompanied by environmentally psychological response, which are difficult to suspect or control and can be measured with a machine called a polygraph, such as chest movement during respirations, abdominal movement during respirations, and heart rate and blood pressure skin conducts. The governor skin response refers to change in sweating of the finger that accompany emotional experience and independence of perspirations under normal temperature.